Well, good morning everybody. I am out again at the wildlife refuge along the Connecticut River, and it's been about a month since I've been here, so I'm excited to see what other kind of species that there might be. On the drive-in I already saw some red-winged blackbirds on the marsh, which I haven't seen yet here. There's also some wood ducks as well, so off to a good start. It's just a matter of seeing what we can find. Had some snow flurries overnight, so there's kind of a little bit of a powder of snow on the ground, and we're actually supposed to get a decent snowstorm tomorrow, a couple inches of snow tonight into tomorrow. So I'm hoping with the impending storm coming, the birds might be a little bit more active and foraging more. That's usually what happens when there's a storm coming. The birds and the wildlife kind of are aware of it. They know before we do. And so they'll be a little bit more active to get the resources that might not be available tomorrow. So I'm hoping that some things will be out and about, but time will tell. So just keep our eyes open. Along this little marsh here, you can see all the beaver activity. They've been busy. Have a little dam built, and there's all sorts of gnaw marks on the trees. Beavers are really important to the ecosystem. They're considered keystone species because they have the ability to engineer the habitat. So by cutting down all of these larger trees, it provides more sunlight down to the forest floor, which allows new shrubs and more trees to grow, which creates a different kind of habitat. So it's kind of a changeover from mature forest to young forest, and beavers are naturally able to do this, and that's why they're so important. It helps establish more young forests, which is really lacking in this area. There are many species that actually require young forest habitat. It's called early successional forests. And those species can only be found in that kind of habitat. They're obligates to that kind of habitat. So beavers have the ability to create that habitat, and what beavers do is they kind of create a meadow essentially by cutting down the larger trees, which creates the ability for a young forest to grow, and then the beavers move on to another area. So it's a very kind of cyclic pattern. The beavers come in, they create the early habitat, and then they move to another section that has more mature forests and more of the species that they enjoy. So beavers are very important. just because the species might be common. Take a song sparrow, for instance. You see them everywhere. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take some time to try to photograph them. I just had a little group of 3 song sparrows that were foraging on the trail, so I just decided to sit down and lay down and try to get some ground level shots of them. One of them was perching on a branch, and I mean, it's nice. It's a beautiful bird. They have a nice song. They're one of those underappreciated birds that everybody sees, so they don't really take many pictures of it. So everybody kind of goes after the exotic species, but it's still a nice bird, and it's definitely worthy of taking some pictures of it. Well, I was walking down the trail and I heard a kingfisher calling, and it was kind of going past a marshy section. So I was looking at all of the tops of the dead trees that are in the marsh to see if I could find the kingfisher. Instead of finding the kingfisher, I found a beautiful red-shouldered hawk that is just perched up on top of one of the dead trees in the marsh. And it almost looks like it's kind of hunting, but it's looking down into the water that's melted below it. So I wonder if it might be going after some sort of fish or crayfish or something that might be active. Something I haven't seen before, but really awesome. Well, the red-shouldered hawk just flew away. just perched on another tree a little bit farther down the marsh. So it's awesome, awesome experience. Such a beautiful bird. But I'm gonna leave it alone now. Gotta head back down the way I was. I'm hoping that maybe the kingfisher is down this way a little bit. I'm just gonna take a break at a little stream here. This is the area where I've heard the kingfisher and where I've seen the kingfisher before. So I'm hoping that maybe if I sit here, it might perch on one of these dead trees. This is also one of the few areas that have running water. So I'm hoping that if it's going to come and fish, this might be the spot that it does it. Well, the red-shouldered hawk that I was photographing before just flew over and actually kind of took a dive down to some of the mergansers that are in the pond about 50 yards away, and I actually saw the kingfisher following it. So I think as long as the red-shouldered hawk is around, the kingfisher's not going to fish. But it looks like the red-shouldered hawk just flew off again, so I'm hoping maybe that might be a good sign that the kingfisher might actually come and start to fish again now that the hawk's not around. This is really awesome. I was sitting here waiting for the kingfisher to come closer, and out of the corner of my eye I saw a little mink come out of the water and go up on the bank and into the brush. Absolutely amazing. It's probably like 15 feet away from me, and it's under the brush, and I'm just gonna hope that it comes back out. I've never seen this before. I've never been able to photograph one before. They're such an interesting animal. So hopefully it comes back out. This is one of the benefits of finding a spot near water, because you never know what might come out. And everything needs water, so there's always a good amount of species that are around. Man, you just sit quietly and something might pop out. It just popped back out. Oh, man. And it just came up onto a log and was staring at me for a little bit. It's so cool. Now that I'm looking, I can see at least 5 little burrows on the bank of this little creek. And it keeps hopping into them, and then it pops out another one. So it must have an awesome tunnel system on the edge of this bank here. So I'm just gonna sit here and just kind of watch these guys. These things are so cool. There's at least 2 of them. Farther up the brook where I saw the minks, and they're still scurrying around on it looks like a beaver dam. So I'm just gonna try to sit quietly and see if they come back out. I put on some camouflage so maybe they wouldn't notice me. They know I'm here because when I came over there was one up on the bank, and it was sitting there looking at me, and it didn't seem to mind. So I'm hoping if I sit here, they might come back out, and I might be able to get some good shots. They're scurrying back and forth on top of this bank, So I'm hoping that maybe I'll be able to see something. I decided to leave the minks. I saw one about a half hour ago and it seemed to have gone down into a burrow. So I'm not sure if it went farther down the brook or if it's just napping down there. But I took the opportunity while it wasn't out and about to leave it alone. So I'm gonna head back and see if there's anything else out and about. Well, that's gonna be it for me today. I got to see, I think, about 25 species of birds, and plus I got to spend some time with that mink, which was really awesome. Really happy I got to see that. Never got to be able to photograph that species before, and I'm definitely gonna try to come back again, maybe in the springtime when it might be a little bit more active. But I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you out there next time.